Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Maddie and today I am doing a video that I have not seen on YouTube yet, but it is a challenge that is going around on Instagram and it is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 challenge. I thought about just doing an Instagram post, but then I decided that a video would be more fun, probably alongside an Instagram post. I might share some other ones too. So if you want to see that, make sure you go follow me on Instagram at Maddie's Mini Library. It's always linked down below. And also my Amazon storefront. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that I get to say that. I just got approved today and I am now going to use that to link all of the books that I talk about on Amazon for y'all. I feel so fancy. Basically what this challenge is 5 books that I love, 4 books that I want to read soon, 3 books that I recommend, 2 books that I recently gave 5 stars, and 1 book that I am currently reading. I have all my books set out right here, so let's go ahead and get started because I am super excited. None of these are in like a particular order in each category. They're just, I just went and put them into whatever category that I wanted. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the 5 books that I love. The first one is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I loved this book and it was, oh my gosh, I got so emotional reading this and it was amazing. And eventually I would like to read it again, but I don't know when that will be just because it made me so emotional. And I would love to even get like a special edition of this if they have them, especially since this one is from Target and I can't get the stickers off, and that is like maddening to me. But this is basically about Harriet and Wynne, and they were engaged and then they broke up, but they did not tell their friends. I believe it's every year they go on this vacation together, but this will be the last time that they'll be going on that certain, like to that certain place for different reasons. They were planning on telling their friends when they got there, but then for reasons that I won't tell y'all, they decide that they're not going to tell them, and so they fake being engaged. And one thing about me is I do love a good fake dating, fake engagement scenario. It's just really, really good. It's a very, very sweet read. I just love this book, and when I read it again one day, I will make a video about it and we will see how I respond to it in the future. I also like to do spice ratings, and I don't remember how much spice was in this one. I know there was some though. This was not a clean read, but I don't remember it being like super spicy either. My next book in the books that I love is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This was, I think, one of my first adult rom-coms that I read and I fell in love with it. I do think my cat also enjoyed it. I think he took a little chomp out of it at some point, but this was so cute. This was another fake dating. I need to reread this apparently because I don't really remember it that well, but I do think I read it like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago now. So it's been a while, but I do remember that I loved it. Yes, this is another fake dating trope between 2 scientists. Olive's a 3rd year PhD candidate. Her professor is who she is fake dating. Anyways, I'm gonna reread this at some point. This was so good and I don't remember it. And maybe I'll eventually get a new copy. My 3rd book is out of the Court of Thorns and Roses series, and this is A Court of Wings and Ruin. Now, most people's favorite is A Court of Mist and Fury, but this was my favorite one out of the series, and I'm not gonna go into detail about this at all because I don't wanna spoil any of the series, especially because I believe this is the third book in the series. And yeah, I loved this book. It was my favorite one. Maybe if I reread the series, I'd change my mind, but as of right now, no. This is my favorite. It was so good to me, and even though it was long, I flew through this. My 4th book is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I love this book. I've done a review on it on my channel. 6-star book. It was just amazing. This is a book that I wish I could experience reading it for the first time again because I loved it that much. So with that, my 5th book that I love is actually Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is the 2nd book in this series. If you've watched my other videos, you know I did not love the ending, but the actual book, like, it would have been 6 stars for me if it wasn't for the ending. The ending bumped it down to 5 stars. But the actual book, I loved. I love the dragons in it. The concept is just so good to me. Now, the 4th category is 4 books that I want to read soon. And the first one that I have in this category is The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. I don't know too much about this except that it is following a unicorn. And I think that is such a cool concept. It's a pretty small book and I just heard it's amazing and I love the cover of this. This is a beautiful cover to me. That's all I really have to say about that because I don't know too much about it. I will keep y'all updated though. The next book in category 4 is this category. It's really category 2, but it's category 4, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Is The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is a romance and it is about a girl who inherits her apartment from her aunt, and turns out it's a magical apartment that I think every once in a while goes back 7 years, and she meets a guy in the apartment who used to live there, and then I'm assuming like it becomes a thing, but that's all I know, and I'm very excited because I just think I've never heard somebody say they didn't like this book. I think everybody I've heard that reads this book says it's like 5 stars, so I have high hopes for this. Yeah, I need to get to this like ASAP. I want to say it's on my March TBR, but I'm not sure. My next book in this category is another fantasy book, and that is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I've yet to read a Brandon Sanderson book. I don't know what this one's about. Honestly, I can't remember. I think I read the synopsis one time and that was a while ago and I thought it sounded good, and honestly, this cover is beautiful to me. I love this cover. It's so peaceful. I really want to read a Brandon Sanderson book so bad. And yeah, so I just think this will be a good read. And then my last book in this category is The Fiction Writer by Gillian Cantor, and this is a thriller, and I just know that it's about an author who is a fiction writer, but I want to say she goes somewhere and she is doing a ghostwriting thing for someone, and then it turns out to not be it as what it seems. And I know it's in Malibu, and past that I don't know anything else, but I'm very excited to read this. I never have thrillers like in physical form, so that's another reason I'm excited, because I got this book sent to me. So the next category is 3 books that I would recommend. I'm gonna start with the one that's on Kindle Unlimited, and that is My Phony Valentine by Courtney Walsh. I love this book. It's such a cute little rom-com. It's clean, it's sweet. I realized I have not been giving any more spice ratings for the other ones. Sorry about that, guys. But My Phony Valentine is clean and sweet, and yeah, so loved that book. It's perfect for Valentine's Day, but also it's not so Valentine's Day-ish that you couldn't read it throughout the rest of the year. I feel like it is something that you could read at any time probably if you wanted to. My next book in this category is Love Theoretically by Allie Hazelwood. I gave this book 4 stars, and it's just another cute STEM romance. This does have some spice in it. I just really love Allie Hazelwood's books. This one was super, super cute, and I would definitely recommend this to anybody that's wanting to get into Allie Hazelwood or is just looking for like a fun, easy to follow but also interesting rom-com, because there is some STEM stuff in it, but it's not too much, because I'm like not a science girl, y'all. I'm not good at science. I was a literature girl all the way. This one is so good, and I would recommend this to anybody that's like wanting a fun rom-com. And my last one in this category, and even though it is only the first book, I would recommend this series to anybody, and that is A Court of Thorns and Roses. Now, this book is definitely not the best book out of the series, but I still enjoyed it. This was actually the first fantasy book that I ever read. Okay, this is gonna sound, oh my gosh, this is gonna sound so stupid. I didn't realize what fantasy was, like, at all. Like, when I read this book, I had no fantasy knowledge at all. When I saw fae, I was like, what does that mean? I thought that was something that Sarah J. Maas came up with. I didn't realize that there was this whole genre of fantasy. I didn't get into reading until I was like older, so I didn't know, and I didn't know about booktube or book talk or anything like that. I don't even remember how I came across it, but I picked it up and I fell in love with it. And isn't the best book out of the series, but it was still really good and such a good introduction to fantasy. And then I started realizing that the things that she said in this, like terms and stuff, are like things that other people use in other books because it's like real stuff. If you're looking to get into fantasy, to me, this is a great place to start, and maybe that's just me because that's where I started out. That is my third book that I would recommend. So the next category is 2 books that I have recently given 5 stars, and we have another Sarah J. Maas book, and that is Throne of Glass. And y'all, I literally read this like 2 days ago, and I loved it. Now, here is my thing with it. It might not be like, fell a little flat in the end. Like I didn't like necessarily how the story went, like the plot. But how this book made me feel is how it got 5 stars. I read this in less than 24 hours. And this is like a 400-page book. Like it's not huge, but it's not small. And I read it in less than 24 hours. I love the main character, Selena. So good. This 5-star. I have way more thoughts on this, and I don't want to, I said I shouldn't say too much because I have a reading vlog coming up with this in it. So I'm gonna be quiet now, and y'all can go watch that when it comes out. My other book that I recently just gave 5 stars to, I read this at the beginning of February, and that is First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston, and this is her first adult thriller. I think she writes young adult books, and y'all, you would have thought she was writing books like adult thrillers for years. Like so good. It is, oh, it's falling out of its cover. Oopsie. This is giving like Blacklist in the like early seasons. I love Blacklist, and so maybe that's why I love this so much. Oh my gosh, so it is a thriller, but it also feels kind of like a mystery, and there's so much going on. Our girl here, I can't remember her name now, Evie Porter, is not Evie Porter, and she doesn't know who her boss is. She's trying to figure that out, and then basically she goes through this whole thing, and it's kind of a mystery, kind of a thriller, not a scary thriller. So I'd say if you are somebody who gets scared really easily, this would be a good option for you, because there's not like you want to know what happens, but you're not like scared through it. And also it has like a fade to black scene, I think. Not very spicy. It does have some cussing, but not too bad. And yeah, oh my gosh, this is my favorite thriller that I have ever read. And I went into this blind, like I didn't know any reviews on it or anything, but as far as I can tell, everybody says really good things about it. And coming from me, 5 stars. 5 stars. I don't give thrillers 6 stars because I don't feel like I can like connect, but if I like on like that level of a 6 star, but if I was gonna give a thriller, I can't talk, 6 stars, then I would give this one 6 stars. Now, my last category is one book that I'm currently reading, and I am currently only reading one book, which is very surprising for me because I am usually a person that's reading multiple books at one time. But since it is the second to last day in February, I am trying to read this book. But the book that I'm currently reading is The Last Single Cowboy by Jamie Casey. So far, I'm only like 30% in. I am not like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite book, but it's okay. It's the second book in the Bachelors of Paradise Valley series. I like the first book better, which is The Forever Pact, but this one it's cute. It's cute. It's not the best ever, but it is a sweet, clean romance. So if that is your vibe, then this is probably a good one. The whole series is a good one to, read. This one is a little bit more risque with the jokes compared to the first one, but so far there's been no spice, and I'm pretty sure there's not going to be any spice throughout it. That is it for this video. This was so fun to do like a little challenge, and I actually kind of had trouble deciding what I wanted to put where because I feel like these are all such good books. So anyways, yeah, that is where we're going to end this video. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, friends.